Hello everybody. In this session, we are going to discuss about introduction to file handling in Python. What is file handling in Python? File handling is nothing but one of the most important parts of programming. That is, in file handling, it is nothing but it is simplified with built-in methods, which includes creating, opening, and closing of the file. The key function for working with files in Python is open function. So nothing but handling of the file in Python is done in different ways. That is creating, opening, closing, and one of the most important key function is opening of a Python file. So in opening of a Python file, in the open function, we have two parameters. One is the file name, that is the name of our file, and the mode, in which mode we have opened the file, whether it is read mode, whether it is writing mode, or whether it is appending mode, whichever mode it is. These are the two parameters which are used in our open file function. Then there are four different methods or modes for opening the file. So the first one is R, that is double encoded with R, that is read default value. Okay, opens a file for reading. Error if the file does not exist. Okay, in order to read that particular file, we have to open our file in read mode. And if that particular file does not exist, it will pop up an error. Then we have an append mode. So append mode is nothing but opens a file for appending. What is the meaning of the word appending is nothing but if we want to add something in our file, we can use this append mode. Okay, if you want to add a word or a sentence or anything, we can do using the append mode. Then creates the file if it does not exist. Okay, even after that, if we want to append something, it also creates a file. Then we have our write mode. Okay, so write mode opens a file for writing, creates the file if it does not exist. Okay, so it helps us to write something in the file, and if that file does not exist, it will help us to create that. And then the next one, that is X, that is creates a specified file, returns an error. Okay, if you want to create any specified file, important file, we can create this. Okay, so whatever we have discussed now, we will demonstrate it by with the help of programming. So let's demonstrate that. Okay, so this is a platform wherein I'm going to code my particular Python code for file handling. Okay, so let's start. So in this platform, we have our file. So and that is also saved in .py extension. Okay, so let's start coding to understand how file handling concept works. So first one, I'm going to take a variable file. File is the name of my variable, and then I'm going to open that file. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to open that file and give the name of my file as example.txt. Okay. So first I'm going to open the file. That is, I'm going to create my file with the name example.txt, and that too in write mode. So that means in that particular file, I want to write something. So for that reason, I'm going to open my file in write mode. And then I will use that variable file.write. Write is a method or a function. Okay, write or a function, and then I will say hello, welcome to this session. So I have opened the file with the name example.txt in write mode. And then by using write method, I'm going to write this particular concept in the, okay, hello, welcome to this particular session. I want to write another statement. So I will use again file.write and I will say, okay, this session is on file handling. Okay. So this is how it is written. And then see, whenever we open the file, we have to close it. So by using close method, I will close my file. So the first statement indicates that I'm going to open the file with the name example.txt in write mode. And by using write method, I'm going to write these two statements in the file and I'm going to close the file. So when I run this particular code, you can see on the left side of my platform, I have example.txt file created. And when I click on that particular file, I will have the particular two statements written. That is, hello world, welcome to this session. And this session is on file handling. So I will just give a escape sequence that is \n to show you that it comes in the next line. I will rerun it. You can see once I run it, I have these two statements, one below the other. So \n is an escape sequence character, which takes the cursor towards the next line. So this is about creating the file, then writing the statements in the file and closing the file. Next, what we are going to do is, I'm going to take another variable, file1. What is a variable? Variable is a container to store our data. So again, I'm going to open that particular file which I have created, that is example.txt in read mode, which is abbreviated as R. And I'm going to use for loop for each in file 1 print each. So each is again a variable wherein I'm using my for loop to print each and every line which is present in my variable file1. Okay, so read mode is used to read the data. Write mode is used to write the data. Read mode is used to read the data. That is, it will read the data and it will give the out in my console, which is available at the right side of my platform. Okay, so here it is going to read that particular file and give us the output. And in order to print that, in order to print that, I will use for loop. So for loop is used to print the statements which I have written in example.txt. So when I run it, you can see that is whatever statements which are available in example.txt file is appearing on my console. So in order to appear my statements in console, I will open my file in read mode. Okay, so done. So this is how we can read our statements and get the output in our console. The next one. So I will use again another variable file2 is equal to open. I'm opening the same file with name example.txt, comma, in read mode again, and then I will just say print file2. So whatever is there in that particular file2, I'm going to use the read method to read first 10 characters. Okay, so this is to demonstrate that in order to read the first 10 characters of the statements which are there in example.txt. So I will use the read method to get the output. So you can see hello, welk. That is the first 10 character. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, it will include the blank space also. So it will calculate the blank space and then it will give us the first 10 characters. To print the first 10 characters, I will use my read method. Then next, if I want to add something in my file, I will use my append method. So I will say file3 as my variable and then I will say open the same file example dot text in my append mode and then I will say file 3 dot write. So I'm going to use my write mode. I'm going to use my write mode and then I'm going to only one bracket is more than enough. So I will write I I am the student of IIT. Okay, just so I want to add this particular statement by using append mode and by using write method, I will add this particular statement in my example.txt. So when I run this particular code, you could see in my example.txt that particular statement is added. That is, I am the student of IIT Madras. So I can just add a backslash n character here so that I will rerun it so that the line which I've added will be appended very next to it. Then I will again with using with keyword, I will again open my file that is double quotes example.txt in my read mode as again keyword as my first file. Okay, take this down as my first file, comma, open first file, comma, open. So I will just as my first file, open. I'm giving another file name as example2.txt. In first file, I'm opening in read mode. Second file, I'm opening in the write mode as as the second file. I'll just take this down. As the second file, and then for line in first file, whatever lines are there in the first file, add it in the second file. Second file dot write. So we will just and then we will just paste this here. Perfect. Okay. So what we have done in the last part of the coding is that we have opened our example.txt file in read mode and we are just giving it as the first file. Then we have opened another file, that is we have created another file example2.txt in append mode, that is we are going to add something as a second file. So the first file we are giving first file which we have created, that is example.txt, and example2.txt is our second file. And the first file we have opened in the read mode and the second file we have opened in the append mode. And whatever lines for line in first line, that is whatever lines are there in the first file, just append that in the second file. So when I run this particular code, you could see my example2.txt example2.txt file is created, and when I just run this particular file, you can see the statements which are there in example.txt is being appearing, that is hello, welcome to this session, and this session is on file handling. So I am the student of IIT Madras will not be added because these later this particular statement was appended, but first two statements which were first created when example.txt file was created, only those statements will be appended. I hope this particular session is about understood and this particular session ends here. The next part we will be discussing in the next session. Thank you.